You said you were proud of yourself in doing it because that's like super important, right? People get bogged down sometimes and like, oh man, this is hard, or like, I don't know if I can do it. Because I mean, it's really hard to not compare yourself to these other dancers that's out there, right?
Yeah,
it's intimidated by it.
Right. And it's one of those things where, like, I wasn't expecting to place in the open at Ohio because it's Ohio. And part of the reason why I was even doing open was because I kind of had to. It was that I knew I was going back to Ohio. I had won the closed bronze rhythm scholarship at Ohio the year before. I had to do a heat, a quarter, a semi, and the final to win that one. Because there were just like a lot of A couples that year. I don't know. It was the most A couples I'd ever seen at a competition. I was like, I don't know where you all came from, but I love this for us. This is so cute. I was still the only black one, but like, I still thought it was
smooth. I feel like smooth. It's very limited. Like you might find a couple here and there when you're like, oh hey, but
no, me and A, it's literally just me and A hanging out. At least me and A bronze. I've never I go to a lot of competitions and it's
never met another chocolate person in your level in any of your competitions. Really? Wow. And either style or just smooth?
No, both in rhythm and smooth.
Oh, okay. You know what's funny? I don't even notice this. So you notice this. So you go to a comp and they like give you a stamp or a band, right? I go in the first time, they never have to check me ever again. They're just like, oh yeah.
They know exactly who I am. Like
it's written all over my face, like bam. Well,
one of those things where I'm like, I'm sure Sam Sedano does not know a lot of people by name and face. He knows me. And the reason why is that because after I won that world title last year, he came up to us at lunch and he was like, you were at Atlanta Open, right? So I was like, yep, that's me. This year up and he's like, you started doing open this year. You were the runner-up. I was like, yes, I was. I'm like, you are somehow tracking my life, Sam. I don't know if you do that for everybody. I think it's just because I'm just like real distinct looking, and that's great. If that's how it goes, I love that for me.
I do think that's like a pro. It's a pro and a con, right? To be distinct, right, on the dance floor. Because one, do you ever feel like you have a little bit of added pressure being the only out there sometimes? Like, because you're like, one, I gotta definitely do good. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, maybe I just put that little pressure on myself. And you're gonna stand out. So if you mess up, it's like, she was the only that messed up.
Honestly, I don't see it that way. I think I was worried that because I look different and because I dance rhythm a little bit different from a lot of other people, it's like I dance rhythm like a Caribbean person. And I fully understand that because there are things that I've had to fix because even if they're not wrong, they will like look wrong just because like of weird little things. But honestly, it's never been like I feel like an added pressure to do really well because I'm the only one. I think what it actually is I'm like, this is such a fun opportunity to change and expand how you define ballroom.
Yeah.
Because the key thing has been that like how well received I've been by the judges, etc., who like a lot of them have explained to me that they're like, there just have not been a lot of like pro-ams who come out and are dancing so well so quickly. And we are so excited that you are here. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really have anything to prove because me being there is enough of a difference in what usually happens in the ballroom world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I don't really need to do anything but come out here and dance. Like, me just coming out here and being a pretty ballroom princess or a spicy ballroom princess is actually enough.
I'm truly happy for you. Maybe I should like have like somewhat of a, outlook like that to give some of that pressure off. Don't get me wrong. I have an amazing time on the dance floor. Like it's like no other feeling, right? But at the same time, I'm always like I gotta show people that it's possible to actually do well. It's, it's not just a thing that I'm out here. Like, you can win, you can do this. Like, I don't know, and I think I've always been that way, and it's probably not it's probably not good. But I love how you think about it. Like, just going out there is changing it. Like, that exposure for everybody, for the judges, for the people out there, for people who look like us. Like,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah. Because like I don't know, I spent years like being a ballerina and like being one of the larger ones, and like coming to ballroom, I was like, if we are doing this dance thing again, I am losing no weight for this. I'm like, they're going to catch these hips. We're going to be out here. I'm like, we're here. And also, it's one of those things where, like, the other way that I think about it is all of the judges used to be dancers, and all of these, like, scary people that I'm now learning all of their fancy names. Like, I'm really proud of myself that I now know who Sam Sedano is, etc. It's like I'm really bad because it's like I'm learning the names of all the people, and I always feel really silly when I ask Christian. I'm like, who is that? He came to say something to me, and I don't know who that is. I'm really new. I've only been here for 2 years, and I'm still learning the names. But I know a lot of the names now. I'm not going to call all of them out because we don't need
we need like a cheat book with all the names you should know. That
yes,
going into ballroom.
right.
I think
Like,
that.
all of the old world champions who are really famous coaches, all of the people who own all of these competitions, so that when they
Yes.
walk around, you actually know who they are.
Yeah, you study them like flashcards, so you know.
Right. Like, and also all of the judges' names, because they all used to be, for the most part, like national or world champion ballroom dancers, and they did it because they love the dancing. So like the other way that I think of it is like when it's obvious that you're really enjoying the dancing itself, and that you like have taken the time to like learn your choreography and learn your technique. It's like you have everything you need to be successful in it, and the judges can tell when you're having a great time and you're really into the dancing. So like that's part of why I don't worry about it. So I'm like, the judges want to see me have a good time. Like, this is a good time. I'm gonna give them a good time. They're here to watch, like the judges are here to catch some smiles and catch some hips. Of course, like it in proper technique, but that's what they're here for too.
All right, y'all. If y'all ain't never seen her, next time you go, please catch Gaby's smiles and catch Gaby's hips, because she's gonna give it to you. So,
because if it's smooth, they're gonna get some really nice hip pendulum sway. And if it's rhythm, like they're just gonna get some booty shaking and like some really nice turnout. We are here. We're giving them what they want.
Yes. So actually with that, so how do you, I know that there's so much structure and I guess traditional form and technique when it comes to both styles, right? That they want to see. How do you make sure we don't lose Gaby and that sauce that you bring to it?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I've been able to do this more in open than I was able to do it in closed. That's part of why open rhythm has been fun, especially like mambo, because a lot of the Caribbean body rhythm that I grew up with, I'm kind of just allowed to just put into mambo. Like no one is going to be mad if I do like a random body roll in right after I hit in mambo. Like there's all of this stuff that I've always wanted to do that like in closed I wasn't really allowed to do, and in open I can. I'm like, anything goes. And like as long as it's within actual timing and the timing makes sense to people, I'm good. I figured out how to add my body rhythm to syncopated timing.
What do you mean?
For example, like there are things that I wanted to do with like my shoulders, etc. And Chris John was basically like, you're allowed to do that as long as you can give me counts for it.
Oh, okay, no,
He's like, if you can figure out what the syncopated timing for that is and do it the same way every time you do it,
Oh, you got me counting.
you're good. I'm like, okay. I was like, Chris John, bet I see you. I will come back and raise you counts. Because as long as unreal counts, there's like not really anything anyone can really say about that. So that's one thing. And I think the other thing as well is that like I think like they're different ways to approach the ballroom dances. And like one way that like has really worked for me is, am I being true to the spirit of the dance? And am I also interpreting that in my own way? Mm-hmm. Because judges will appreciate that this is like really true to the spirit of the dance, but you're also seeing this person's personality. Because you also see it when you watch pros where like different pros can be dancing the same dance and look completely different. And they're both dancing the spirit of the dance, but they have their own interpretation of it. Yes. And I think what's helped me is I'm like, what is the spirit of this dance? And then what is Gaby's Caribbean version of that?
I'm going to be respectful and true to the dance, but I'm going to put a little Caribbean flair on there.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I'm like, is this an opportunity for me to be raunchy, to be sultry, like be goofy and be like, as long as it's like true to the spirit of the dance, or even be cheeky. Because like you will catch me winking at judges. I have done this fully just because what happened was that I like was just doing like a Viennese canto and just bringing my skirt around and literally like swept a judge over their board and winked at them. And then honestly, what I do is I'm just like, I just have fun with it. Because as long as it's true to the spirit of the dance, it doesn't really matter, right? Because like for every dance, I can give you like one or two words that I think of that I just kind of run with. So like with Viennese, I think about grounded, flying joy. Okay. And that is Gaby's spirit of that dance. Rumba, I am hunting something. I am like a black widow spider. I'm hunting something. I'm hunting somebody. But I'm not going to completely let them know. It's like I kind of hold some of it back.
Oh, because you made a little bit of a tease.
Right, you're a little bit of a tease. And you have to be a little bit of a tease in rumba because they're like weird moments where if you're not a little bit of a tease, you don't fully settle any of your steps. And if you don't like settle any of your steps, you don't get your weight fully back enough to get that really nice elasticity. Actually, my word for rumba is slinky, like Black Widow tease.
I like it. You need to come up for each style. Just give a little book, like a little cheat sheet for everybody, so they know how to like channel those dances. Because I've talked about that too before. Like, cause some people are like, "How are you so expressive for all these dances?" I do the same thing you do. I channel what is this? What's the meaning of this dance? And definitely don't give me a good song too. What's the song trying to feel too? Like that's a show right there in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing I want to ask you is, what do you have to say for new Pro-Am dancers, whether it be people who look like us, or from that's Caribbean, or just any new dancer? What do you have to say to them?
I think people get really nervous about starting dancing because when you first start dancing, you feel really exposed. And I haven't felt this way in a really long time because I've been dancing for a really long time. But I remember when I first started dancing when I was younger, and like the thing that was like most nerve-wracking about it, like people will say it in different ways. They'll say, "Oh, I have two left feet," or "I'm not sure I can go out and do that." But like I think about dancing as an opportunity to like share yourself with other people. And it's also really nice because I feel like as adults, the older we get is like the more we forget to play. And playing is really important. And being able to still be playful is really important. So there's like all of these like wonderful medical benefits we could talk about with dancing, about how it's like really good for your memory and like really good for just like brain health and like body health in general and all of these things. But like, I think it's also something that's like really good for the soul. So I would say you owe it to yourself to get over the being worried about being exposed phase, because your soul and your spirit will thank you for it. And also I just like love seeing new dancers, because new dancers tend to have just like a really, really nice, like open spirit about it that I think like sometimes people lose when they get really stressed about the competitions. I'm like, the competitions are not this deep. We're just here to have a good time.
No, that's true. That's very important. So yeah, thank you. Thank you again. This is Gaby. She is a pro-am dancer who resides in Atlanta. Look out for another A level. What did you call it? What was the word you used? You didn't say chocolate. I say chocolate person.
I said
melon. What did you say?
Melanated.
Another melanated young lady who is out on the dance floor. Please say hi, okay? Because it's such a small community. I mean, yes, we love everybody, of course, but it's such a small community. It's great to see other people out there who are finally seeing this, right? Like you said, it's expensive. Exposure, it's not something that's like really advertised, right? You don't see videos with people doing, dancing like this. So it is very different, but no, I do appreciate that. So thank you for hanging out with me today.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. This was so fun. So I think it's cute, especially since you were at my first ballroom competition.